Hi, I'm Matthew Kaufman with TechUrchin.com, and in this tutorial we're going to learn how to format text and add color in HTML. In the last tutorial we learned how to add the text and put breaks in the text. This tutorial is going to allow us to format that text a little further and color it to be a little more readable or just pop a little bit more on a page. Let's go ahead and set up our page. We're going to set it up the same way that we did before. We're going to add our HTML tags, drop those in, and then we'll go ahead and put the head tag in and put a title on that. We're just going to put tutorial 3, but we're going to mainly work within the body. So let's go ahead and put the body in here. And let's go ahead and throw some text in there. We're going to put techurchin.com technology news. Alright, let's go ahead and save that. And we'll pop over and look at that on a browser. We have our title, tutorial 3, as we learned in the first tutorial. And then we have our text there, also learned in the first tutorial. techurchin.com technology news. Now, what we're going to learn in this one is how to manipulate that text to look the way we want it to look. Because a lot of times, we don't just write flat. We write with italics, we write with bold, strike through, and then we add color into text sometimes. So with the text that we have now, let's go ahead and make it bold. And we're going to do that with the bold tag. Now, as you see here, we do have an open and a close on the tag. So let's go ahead and close that tag and go ahead and save it. Let's hop over to our browser and look at it. And there we see our text is bold now. Now, if we throw in a new line, and when you throw in a new line, make sure you put your break, as we learned in the last tutorial. And we'll say this is a second line, just to have some text there. Give it a save. If I hop back over here and reload it, notice the second line is not bold. That's because the bold tag is closed within, and it contains that techurchin.com technology news. It does not contain the second line of text. Now, if I take that closing tag off, it doesn't take away that the bold is enacted on the document, but it doesn't end at the end of that line. So if you save that and then hop back over to your browser, give it a reload, it's going to continue on, and it won't stop. It'll continue on for any text that you put within this body until you put an ending tag for the bold. So common practice, and it's good practice, always put an ending tag somewhere. Otherwise, you're going to frustrate yourself wondering where that tag began. So there we have our start and end on that tag. Now, if you want to, let's say we want to put it in italics. So let's do an italics tag. And let's make sure we put a close on that. Alright, give that a save. Hop on over. Give it a reload. And we have that italicized up top there on the first line only, because I did close the italics on the first line. Now, let's say we want it in bold and italics. Then we can put the bold tag and the italics tag. Oops. I need to get rid of that one. Make sure that when you look at these, always go ahead and check them out. Make sure you have italics, bold, and bold. You always have an open and a close, and make sure that they go in the proper order. Notice we have italics on the inside, bold on the outside. Make sure that you don't have like bold, and then italics and italics. Make sure you have them contained correctly. And let's pop back over, give it a reload. Notice we have it bold and in italics now. Alright, and then for the same way, if we left off the bold again, or if we left off the italics, it will continue on to the second line. So make sure that you do close your tags when you create them. One other attribute that we can throw on to our text is strike through. We can type that in as strike, and make sure that we put that close at the end of this. Give it a save, hop back over, and that's going to give you a strike through on your text. It's useful sometimes. I haven't used it a lot, but it can be handy every once in a while. And there's a lot more attributes, obviously, that we can go over in this, but I'm not going to go over them all. I will include a few links in the description that will allow you to find some of these HTML text formatting, and you can dig through those and find some useful tags that you can use in any pages that you want to implement some new HTML in. So I'll leave that up to you if you want to research some of those. But these are some of the basics that we can go over, and it just shows you how to use them. Now, let's go ahead and start looking at color. So let's get rid of those. And I'm just going to give you a real quick show of how color works. We're going to use a font tag. Font, it's going to have the same open and close mentality. If you leave it open, it will continue throughout the entire body. If you close it within a certain measure of text, it'll end at the close. So font, if we want to change the color, we can use either type equals or we can use color equals. We're going to use color equals right now. And we can type in the basic colors with red, blue, black, and you can close that. And that's going to be your basic setup. You have the font color equals. Now notice that I put red in quotes. That is also good practice. It's not always necessary, but it's good practice for other programming languages. Those other languages like PHP and PHP and JavaScript and maybe CSS, they sometimes need those quotes. Those quotes contain multiple words, and those multiple words need to stick together. It needs to take that as a whole. So we're going to go ahead and use that up here. Use font color equals. Let's go ahead and do red and close it. And we'll contain our text within it. Give that a save, hop on over, we'll reload, and there we have our text is now in red. So that's a piece of cake, but let's say we want a color that's somewhere between blue and green or blue and red. You know, we want to get like a different kind of shade of purple, or we're looking for a particular color. Then we want something that gets a little more extensive. Now, brackets contains functions that allow us to manipulate the colors and find what's called hex colors. The hexadecimal colors use a number and a letter system that allow you to find colors of particular shades, and it uses 6 decimals as denoted by the hexadecimal name. And we're just gonna use just a sample color, 25366D2. Notice we have 6 digits in order to denote that hexadecimal color. And that, if you go ahead and save that, and you can play around with these. I will also leave a link that allows you to find some of those hexadecimal colors. And we can hop on over here, reload that, and notice I have a nice blue. And you can play around with a lot of different hexadecimal colors that will give you particular shades, and you might use those more than you think you'd use those, and they can get very particular, and you end up having to dig through your numbers trying to memorize those. And hexadecimal colors are super useful. They can be somewhat of an aggravation, but they will get you a better shade of what you're looking for when you're going for a color. Now, if I happen to leave off the tag, it will do the same thing as the others. It'll continue that color throughout both lines. So let's go ahead and put that ending tag back on there. Now, as we did with bold and italics, we can continue to use bold and let's go ahead and do my end bold on there, give it a save, hop back over, and we can do the bold on there. Nice thing, obviously I'm using this throughout the whole line. If I wanted to do bold for just techurchin.com, then I can do that as well. It's not limited to using an entire line. You can use it within just a word or two. And there we have just techurchin.com is bold. Techurchin.com technology news is all in blue. And then the second line has no kind of additional formatting added onto it. But we do have that line break there. So there we see some real basic manipulation of the font color and the just the text formatting. And those can be extremely useful in making sure that your text looks right and looks clean and crisp and readable, and you make the right words pop out with bold. You can also manipulate the font type, which you would use the font type function, and you would use, you could say equals Times New Roman or Comic Sans or Arial or Helvetica, and you can play around with different font types as well. It's not limited to just one font type. And that's all I have for you for this tutorial. We'll pick up again in the next tutorial and we'll play around a little bit more. Thanks for listening.